Hi, I'm Alan Watt, a VA accredited claims agent with Veterans Disability Aid. This is part 3 of my series on Veterans Disability Benefit Claims. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos, they introduce you to my background and my company, Veterans Disability Aid, and provide an overview of the appeals process and timeline. Today, we'll be talking about the pros and cons of filing a Notice of Disagreement, or NOD, to initiate an appeal versus filing a request for reconsideration or reopen of a previously denied claim. First, I want to say up front that I advise filing an NOD 99% of the time. Let's start out by talking about the advantages of an appeal instead of a reconsideration or reopen. When you file an NOD, you also want to elect to have a de novo review performed by a decision review officer, or DRO. A DRO is an experienced supervisor who will take a fresh look at the claim and set aside the previous decision. The DRO has the ability to approve the claim based on the evidence that was previously submitted, and if they found that a mistake was made in the previous decision, and new evidence can also be submitted with the NOD for the DRO to consider. If the decision is favorable and the claim is approved, the effective date will be the original date of claim, and the veteran will be paid retroactively back to that date. Now, let's talk about the advantages of requesting a reconsideration or reopen of a previously denied claim instead of filing an NOD. There's really only one advantage, and that's at best just a slightly better outcome, and that is time. We all know how long it takes the VA to do anything, and chances are that you've had to wait a very long time to even get the first bad decision that they made on your claim. When you talk to an ill-informed VA representative or veteran service officer about filing an NOD, chances are they will try their hardest to have you file a reconsideration or reopen the claim at a later date. They will say that it will take several years for your appeal to go through and that a reconsideration or reopen is much quicker, but that is not necessarily the case. In my experience, about 80 to 85% of the NODs that I submit get approved by the DRO at the regional office level within about a year, which is actually the same time frame as a reconsideration. This leads us to the disadvantages of an NOD. If the DRO continues the denial after conducting a de novo review, then the claim goes to the Board of Veterans Appeals, or BVA, in Washington, D.C., and it may in fact take several years for the decision. Another factor to consider when filing an NOD is that you only have 1 year from the date of the decision to file a Notice of Disagreement. So long as you are within a year from that denial, you should go ahead with the NOD. Otherwise, your only other option would be to reopen the claim if the denial is more than a year old. When we look at the disadvantages of filing a reconsideration or reopen, the facts tell the real story. Probably the most important issue is evidence. If you do have a claim that was denied, then you must submit new and material evidence in order for the claim to be reconsidered or reopened. If you file an NOD, the DRO may find that a mistake was made and the evidence that was submitted was overlooked or improperly evaluated, and the claim could actually be approved. With a reconsideration or reopen, you don't have this option, and unless you have something new and material to offer, you will not be successful and the claim will remain denied. Another equally important thing to consider is the issue of back pay. Basically, if you file a reconsideration or reopen, then you will lose out on a significant amount of back pay. If the claim is approved, the effective date will be the date that the new and material evidence was submitted. With an NOD, though, the effective date would be the original date of claim, which in some cases may be several years worth of retroactive pay. Now that you know the pros and cons of filing an appeal versus a reconsideration or a reopen, I hope that it will help you make the best decision for your situation. Don't ever let anyone persuade you to do something that isn't in your own best interest. If you have any questions or would like more information, please feel free to visit us at vetdisabilityaid.com and fill out the contact form. You fought for your country. It's time someone fought for you.